Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to RTG for this Monday Tier 1 race and sprint event for at Bahrain, at the Bahrain International Circuit here in Sakhir. The circuit is 5.412 kilometres in length, 3.362 miles in length. It's got 3 DRS zones, 15 corners. It was first raced on in 2004. That's quite a long time ago now, almost 2 decades ago. The 3 compounds of tyres are the C3 softs, C2 mediums and C1 hards. There's going to be a sprint race, as I just said, and that'll be 10 laps and 29 laps to run in the Grand Prix. We've got 19 of the 20 drivers. I think it's 19 full-time drivers, and we've just got the 1 driver missing. We were supposed to have 20. He may turn up a little bit later. Matthew leading the championship after that win he secured last week at Melbourne, with Nice Job Mate coming second and Short Marcus then coming third. Prodigy did finish first on the road, but he got dropped out of the top 3 with his time penalties added at the end. Chuckle is down in 5th place with 16 points. Of course, the standings just relevant to how they finished last week. And there we go, we've got a full 20 with Royal Rumble joining us now. McLaren are on 39 points. Alpine are on 31 and 30 points for Mercedes. So quite close at the moment between the constructors. If you want to have a look at last week's race, you don't have to watch the live streams. You can watch the highlights from last week's both races, the Thursday one as well. We're in Abu Dhabi, and we're back on Thursday with Lee as well. I'm not going to be here on Thursday due to having a Christmas do, but yeah, we'll be back with Lee for Suzuka on Thursday as well. Back to here in Bahrain. We're just about to get underway with some lap times. Apologies for starting a little bit late. The live stream just kept cutting out. I was on time, but YouTube didn't want to play ball straight away. This Chuckle goes 4th fastest. 1:28.5 is the time to beat right now. The time to beat overall, though, is a 1:28.329. That was the last time we were here in the Thursday tier last season in round 8. And the last time we were here on a Monday was season 13 as well, and that was round 2. Believe it or not, the same as we've had this season, and that lap time was set by Robbo, and that was a 1:28.572. We've got a 1:28.288. Already beat it with within 6 minutes of the session starting. Welcome everyone that's joining us. So we have got our full 20 drivers once again. Quite a rarity actually to see 2 weeks of 20 drivers for the full-time roster actually, so it's lovely to see as we are watching DMAC now on a lap. Last week he finished in 7th place as he now comes through the final corner. Evening, John, nice to see you, fella. As DMAC crosses the line with a 1:29.350. 2 drivers yet to set a lap time. Royal Rumble, who was a little bit late, and Chuck, who's now about to complete a lap. And what's his time going to be? Into the 1:29, just into the 1:29s. The fastest in that 1:29 range right now. So Royal Rumble out on the circuit now, preparing for his first flying lap. This could be first of 2 for fresh sets. I'm not sure if he'll have 3. Of course, drivers having to think about tyres due to the fact that obviously we're going to a sprint. Just bear me one. Apologies about that. Yeah, actually, John, talking about safety cars, got a new little rule this evening. So the sprint race will not have safety cars activated in settings. So we won't have a safety car or a VSC for that 10-lap race. Obviously, we will for the Grand Prix itself. There's nothing we can really do about that. It's a bit unfair to take it away. But for the sprint itself, we are fully going to have a 10-lap race to the end without any full caution. So hopefully it will be a bit better. But I tell you what, when the racing was on last Monday, it was terrific. And picking out on the highlight video earlier this week, it was quite hard to put things on the cutting room floor, but I had to eventually because it was just getting a bit too long. One of those moments actually was Little Mo, who had a nice overtake in the midpoint of the race. He also got driver of the day last week as well for his first race in RTG. Had a really good performance. So Royal Rumble now making his way through turn 4 as he exits. There's a nice wide corner there as he goes through 6 and 7. And then turn 8, the hairpin, which is quite difficult to get on the power on the exit, and then into the 2 trickiest corners on the track, 9 and 10. Make sure to get the car rotated, and it's inherently understeery. That turn 10, as he makes his way down the back straight, which I presume, with the road markings on the floor, that it's used as a alternative start-finish straight for other series and other track configurations as he goes through turn 12 before we get on the anchors for turn 13. Slight jab, get off it quickly, get on the power as early as possible as we make our way up over this rise and then back down towards turns 14 and 15, which I say every single time we're here. 15 is not really a corner, but it is when you make a mistake as he goes through that corner and out the final towards the line. And it's an Alpha. Oh, apologies. It's a AlphaTauri back row right now, so not looking great as of yet. So yeah, if you haven't checked out the highlights video, please do so if you have the time. It's about 14-15 minutes long. If you don't have the time, you just want to see a couple of great moments from Australia, there'll be another one on Thursday as well for Abu Dhabi. Check out the 3 moments from Australia as well, just a short video. It's on TikTok, Instagram and this YouTube channel. And when I was talking about the standings as well, if you want to look at those, they're also on the YouTube channel as well now as a post and on the Instagram, so make sure to have a look at those in more depth. Ginge making his way around turn 8, half a tenth up in the first sector as he's into sector 2. Thank you very much, gents. That's really appreciated. People who are watching this back later and can't see the comments, Little Mo and John, just giving you a bit of credit for their highlight video. Appreciated. I'll get one sorted over this weekend as well, but it's my birthday weekend as well, so weighing up priorities this weekend. As James makes his way to the line, Josh McGill goes on to provisional pole for the sprint. Of course, there's no points in this qualifying session. Of course, the sprint format for this year in the game is the old one, which means whoever finishes first in that sprint will take pole. So the point is in the sprint. There's no points down to 8 anymore. It's just the person who takes pole at the end of that 10-lap sprint. A nice job, mate. Goes on to provisional pole now, getting into the 127s. We haven't seen that in RTG in F123. 127.934 for the McLaren driver. Of course, finished second last week. Got overtaken by Matthew round the outside and was the top moment of Australia last week in that short video as well. Josh McGill invalidated there, short markers. I think he's going slowly there actually, it does look like it to me. Thank you, Little Mo, for that happy birthday comment a little bit early. Actually, I don't know if he's watching, sometimes he does, so if Jaffy's watching, sorry mate, calling you out on this one. My friend works night shifts and he was a little bit out of it the other night and decided instead of messaging me happy birthday around or on the 17th of December, which is my birthday. He decided to do it on like the 8th or 9th of December, thinking that was my birthday. So he was a little bit off, but thank you very much for getting close to that date. And I've got a Christmas party as well this week, so I think I'm going to be a little bit too intoxicated this week, I think. As D-Mac moving his way through turn 8, it's a bit interesting at the moment because there's some drivers who are out on laps. There's a lot in the pits as well, so it's quite hard to get a grasp for who's on laps and who isn't. I believe D-Mac isn't actually on a lap. Matthew Jones, however, he looks like he is. He's flat to the floor as we go into turn 6 and turn 7. Oh, just a bit of hesitation at the wheel there as he now makes his way into turn 8. As we rise and then fall into turn 9. Oh well, I'll be 29, John. So it'll be my last year of my 20s. So that's kind of sad. But happy birthday to you as well for your birthday. Is it this Wednesday or previous Wednesday? Your birthday? I didn't actually. This Wednesday. Yeah, I just read the comment back. Yes, happy birthday for Wednesday. As Matthew Jones, he goes through turn 13 in that Williams. Didn't have the best performances last week. Finished 18th in the race as the last driver to finish to have some points, and he goes into the pit, so backs out and probably would have got a warning for that, speeding in the pit lane there, but you can get a couple of them. Croft now making his way to the pits. He's not going to set a lap time. Apologies for not really catching drivers on laps. This man's on a lap though, because he's half a tenth up in the first sector as he goes through turn 8. The Alpha Tauri car 32 Royal Rumble, who's sitting in 19th, who joined us late this evening. Nice line through turn 10. Missed the curb on the exit, so really had full traction from the tarmac asphalt as we go into turn 11, which is a tricky corner to get right, and it's slightly banked as well on the exit as we're now through turn 12. Much easier than it used to be. 13, a crucial corner in the third sector. It's one of two really in this third sector, and looks like he's going faster than he was before as he makes his way down towards the final corner. And as he makes his way out of the final corner and down towards the start-finish line, he moves up to 12th place with a 128.9. So 1 second separating, just under a second separating first to 11th. The two McLarens actually are in a 1 second sandwich with everyone else in the top 10. Went on board with Lewis here. He's waiting for cars to get out of the way. A driver that didn't, one of the two drivers who didn't finish last week. The other one was Ross G was the other one that didn't finish last week as well. Had 18 of the others finish as he makes his way down to turn 8. Slight little lock up of the fronts there. Complaining slightly. The tyres will be optimal range. Maybe getting a little bit too warm again. Just locking slightly. It's so tricky if you're running with no ABS around that second sector. He gets a little bit of a toe off the Red Bull of Pippo Kennedy as he goes through turns 11, flat through 12. This is a crucial corner for 13 in the third sector. Half a second up on his time, and that'll put him in the mix in the middle of the top 10. Of course, we've only got this one qualifying session, as we usually do on a Monday. Not so important though, having the sprint and being able to make up places, but you want to be right up there. But really, you don't want to be in that mid-pack, because the first turn here is so tight, as he now goes into that mid-pack into 7th. The Ferrari of Lewis doing a 128.591. Couple of tenths off his teammate, who's sitting in 4th right now. Got most drivers on out laps. Prodigy's just started a lap. He's got an Alpha Tauri behind him as well. Danny, who I think has also started a lap. Now, is he playing tactics here by getting behind one of the fastest qualifiers in this tier 1. Just trying to get a bit of a toe down towards turn 4, where he thinks that Prodigy will just start to break away and have some clean air to get a good lap time in, as the Ferrari of Lewis now gets out of the way as we go into turn 5, 6, then 7 down the hill. Sparks flying from the Mercedes ahead. Prodigy a tenth up on his time. That would get him into the 127s. We've now seen the checkered flag. That was a very, very quick session. No, just a long wait, a reasonably long wait before turn 11, hitting the brakes there. Car 67 through and back up the hill, and we're going to go to the left and then back to the right to get the shortest line through turn 12. Out, and nicely done from him. Ross G crashing out there at the exit of turn 6. You see in the middle of the track where the yellow flag's flying, the white dot is, that's the Haas. So he's going to be starting no higher than 12th. His Prodigy goes on to provisional pole. Danny crosses the line just behind him. Did the toe help? A little bit, but only just beating Chuck, actually. He was down in 19th, but he beat Chuck by 0.02 of a second. Prof is on the back row. He's on the last grid spot for the sprint. Matty Jones making his way around the final corner. Got Paul Jones and Williams just ahead of him. What's he going to do? Goes up into 4th place. Here comes Matty Jones. He stays 16th. Nice job, mate, making his way around the final corner. He's not going to go faster. Prodigy's on pole for the sprint. Doesn't get a point, though, but is, let's say, what, 10-15% of the work's done when we get into the sprint. He's got a clear track ahead of him and a clear line of sight to turn 1 when we get there. Well, there you go. Prodigy is on pole for the sprint, but can he turn that into pole for the race? Nice job, mate, sitting in 2nd. Still got a clear track ahead of him, but not to his left-hand side. Josh McGill is 3rd. 4th is Paul Jones. Matthew is 5th. Chuckle is 6th. 7th is Short Marcus. RTG Lee is 8th. Pippa Kennedy is 9th. Lewis, the Scotsman, is rounding out the top 10. The American of Little Mo will be starting 11th. Lewis's compatriot Ross G starting 12th, 13th for D-Mac. Ginge is 14th, 15th is Royal Rumble. Matty Jones is 16th, 17th is Looney Man, 18th is Danny. Chuck is 19th and on the back row alongside Prof starting 20th. So, just to clarify, no safety cars for the sprint race. No formation lap again either. Most drivers on the mediums, is anyone going to take a risk to go on the softs to have that advantage at the start? Ross G looking like one of, D-Mac looking like one of those drivers that might take that opportunity. Apologies. D-Mac potentially taking that opportunity. No one else looking to do that either. No one obviously going to go onto the hard tyres because we're not going to have any pit stops and you'll just be in a slower car. It's slower car at the end of the day, obviously on the slower tyres, so we're not going to see anyone on hards. It will be mediums and soft. Will we see anyone else on the soft tyres? Lewis going for it as well as D-Mac. They're hoping to throw some spanners into the works. As I said, 10 laps of this sprint coming up while we wait for the admins to ready up. We had some quick starts last week, but I'm sure the new drivers have had a reprimand and got the info they need now to not ready up and know what they need to do at the start whilst we wait patiently. So actually, surprisingly today, waiting a little bit longer, but here we go. 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights. And we're underway for the 10-lap sprint race for round 2 in Bahrain. Prodigy getting a decent start there, but Josh McGill getting a very good start, getting alongside. Nice job, mate. Almost coming together before they go into turn 1. Now, making contact with Prodigy there. Josh now up into second on the inside at turn 2. Is he going to get the grip? We've got a McLaren round at the back there, towards the back. That's Chuckle falling all the way down to the back, along with Short Marcus as well, who's fallen down as well. They've got some ground to make up now in such a short amount of time. Ross G going up the inside here of Little Mo, who's trying to defend the position. They come together there. He's trying to defend around the outside. Going to have the inside for turn 7. There was a bit of rear wing to rear tyre contact there. Then the Mercedes starts to storm in. D-Mac, who looks like he got his braking all wrong there as we go into turn 9 and 10. And, again, drivers struggling on the brakes. Ginge clipping the back of the Mercedes. And as they round turn 10 and get onto this back straight, are we going to see any moves into turn 11? The AlphaTauri there defending to the inside on the Aston Martin. That was Danny, is the Aston Martin a loony man trying to go around the outside. Prof made up a couple of places so far after starting 20th. Soft tyre is not an option from the AWS predicted strategies. Oh, here we go. Chuck up the inside of Royal Rumble as we go into turn 14 and 15, sorry, as Prodigy, of course, sets the fastest lap. But is he going to be leading at the end of this straight? Because he's got Josh McGill bearing down on him. He goes to the outside. Prodigy follows him in defence and holds on for now. Of course, the driver last week who finished first, but got himself time penalties in that race as Josh now looks to the outside of the South African. Trying to use all the momentum he can, all of the grip, but Prodigy defending beautifully for now. Is there going to be a lunge into turn 8? Sometimes we can see drivers getting caught off guard as we go into turn 8. No. Decides it's too risky to have a go at doing that. Royal Rumble and Chuck going side by side. The sister Red Bull teams with Danny just behind them as well. Prof now back up into 18th after losing a place by looks into Short Marcus. Chuckle looks like he didn't get any damage, but he's struggling at turn 10. So no one really in the top 10 been able to break away just yet, all sticking with each other. We're seeing the pit stop strategies or the race strategies, because obviously we're not actually going to have any mandatory or necessary pit stops unless anyone has a collision or something like that. As they go through turn 14 and 15, get back on the power, and we're going to go on to the third lap, and we're going to have DRS enabled, but not until we get through turn 2 and turn 3, and going up the hill towards turn 4. Is Josh McGill going to go for it though? No, of course he's going to wait, hold back, get that DRS to have the advantage. But just got to get the line right, the traction right out of turn 2 as we go up towards turn 4. Is Matthew going to look at it here? The Alpine looking to the inside on the Williams. But no, just holds station. Royal Rumble trying to go around the outside of Looney Man. These two are fighting down that back straight. And now we've got Looney Man off and back down into 20th. Looked like he had a bit of a Christmas do the other night, so maybe he's still suffering from that. Of course, as I said, no safety cars in the sprint, so it's full-on racing until the very end. It's a little bit of tough luck if you spin out and fall to the back. There's no chance of a safety car bringing you back up. Matty Jones going for an audacious and opportunistic move at turn 10, but hasn't pulled it off just yet. Got on the inside, but didn't get the traction when he put his foot to the floor. This is the only straight at this circuit that doesn't have DRS. The straight between turns 13 and 14. And look at that. Prodigy already trying to break the toe. You can get a really good slipstream down the start-finish straight. It's a very heavy braking zone into a right-hand hairpin. And Josh looking again to the inside, but not close enough again. Pippo Kennedy trying to go for it on the Ferrari, as again moving back down the order, just keeping an eye on others, maybe making up some places. Is Matty and Short Marcus still very close together. Prof still sat down in 18th, and Prodigy still leading as we're now a third of the way through lap 4. So as we dive down into turn 9, again, no one's been able to break away from anyone else. Prodigy been able to hold on defending. Obviously has some decent straight line speed on that Mercedes, because otherwise he wouldn't be able to defend against the drivers behind who have that drag reduction system enabled. As we go through turn 12, up the hill, and then we're going to start going back down before we hit up onto a little crest and then start plunging down again. There is a bit of elevation change at this Bahrain International Circuit. As I said, going downhill now into turn 14. Mind not to lock up here, and again, tricky corner to get right, and if you get it wrong, it really does feel like two corners. And Josh McGill looks like he's got a fantastic corner exit there, and is now on the hunt for the lead. He pulls to the inside, but I don't think he's going to have to defend the inside. I just think he's got past well before the braking zone. Slight lock up though, but he's able to keep it in check, and now up into first, and he's got Prodigy now will have the DRS back at him. A few drivers switching places here. Ross G spun round here into the gravel, and who else was that? Pippo Kennedy, I think, as well, who had made a trip through the gravel. And just getting towards half distance in the sprint. Royal Rumble going side by side with the Williams of Matty Jones, all getting out of shape, going off the track, but able to keep it in a straight line. Didn't start pirouetting at turn 6 as he rounds turn 8 now. And again, back up and then down the hill. It's a lot of elevation, as I said, and a lot of ascent and then descent rapidly into corners, which must be quite a handful for drivers in real life, with obviously that horrible sort of feeling getting in your stomach like over a humpback bridge. You must feel it quite a lot here, actually. Is Matthew, I'm not too sure who's going to get on pole for the race here, because they're all so close together. Chuckle round again by the looks of things, struggling at this Bahrain circuit, as well as Prof as well, who's come a cropper at turn 11. Josh McGill setting the fastest lap, trying to break DRS, but hasn't been able to just yet. And this is the point in the circuit where you can just close down that gap. You have DRS here, and then we're going to get DRS once again. He's going to close that gap even more now, as you saw Josh McGill getting slightly out of shape there, and then Prodigy getting out of shape out of turn 3 after Josh did in the middle of turn 2. Ross G has retired, so we'll be starting 20th for the race. Lovely helicopter shot there as the top 5. Action happening in the midfield. Danny getting closer and closer, now looking to the outside, now got past Pippo Kennedy. Not sure if he let him pass there or if he lost traction over the curb. He was going very slowly on the exit of turn 7. in kind of a stalemate at the moment between Prodigy and Josh, around that 7th, 8th, 10th mark between them ever since he got past. That time coming down though towards turn 14 as we exit turns 14 and 15. DRS open again, but Prodigy having to look in his mirrors now. His nice job, mate, getting closer and closer to the back, now alongside, but got the outside, and gonna have the Alfa Romeo ahead of him, but it looked like the Alfa Romeo defended to the inside, and defending around the outside of turn 2 is Prodigy, and been able to make it work. Paul Jones, however, getting feisty, our Thursday champion, as we go towards the end of Sector 1 into Sector 2. Chuck and Little Mo fighting it out through turn 4 and now 5, and Little Mo now up into the top 8. Look at that, Chuck up 10 places in six and a half laps. That's super impressive from him, and if he can keep that up and keep where he is, he's going to be chuffed from where he's going to be able to start for the race. Is he going to make up another place here? He's still trying to fight with Little Mo, who's also up 3 places as well, so hats off to him as well for the first 2/3 of this sprint. Top 4 now is just starting to break away a little bit from the 2 Alpines behind them. 4 different constructors in the top 4. What's going to happen now? Again, sprints mentally, they're difficult because you want to go aggressive, you want to make up the places, but you know if you spin at this point, you're going to be starting down towards the back of the field for the race itself. Prodigy lost the place, then tried to attack to get the place back into turn 1 on the inside, but hasn't been able to make anything of it, has to fall back for now. 3 laps to go in the sprint. It's been really rather close. Chuckle now deciding to retire. So the back row is confirmed for the race. Short Marcus and D-Mac jostling for position. I think that was at turn 4, and they've got the AlphaTauri of Danny behind them. Looney Man now, the next driver, starting on row 9 in 18th place. As we've got 2.5 laps to go, we'll keep an eye on the front 4, I think, for the foreseeable. Don't count out Matthew, don't count out RTG Lee, who's just behind him as well. Those two could get back into a fight, especially if these guys start fighting, which I'm predicting they will for the next couple of laps. But of course, if there's some wheel banging or, you know, just people getting out of shape, you can lose half a second to a second, so that could bring those two right back into it. And Matthew potentially got some battery to play with as well to try and close the gap. The Williams of Paul Jones looking to the inside on Prodigy. And here we go, the final 2 laps, and I'm sure these drivers are not going to leave anything on the table now until we get to the race itself. Paul Jones getting closer and closer to Prodigy, actually closing the DRS early. Prodigy defending to the inside, which means Paul had to go to the outside. And holding place there, the Scotsman versus the American. Lewis versus Little Mo. Little Mo trying to defend around the outside, gets it done, sorted for now. Is Lewis going to try and fight back though towards turn 4? I don't think he got the DRS actually. I think Little Mo must have had it from when they were entering turn 1. Matthew actually now losing a bit of ground to the top 4, and all of them actually, oh, nice job mate, looking comfortable with all that battery, just as well as Josh McGill. These two have decided to save for the last lap and a half, whereas the other two have used a little bit more and they haven't got so much to play with, so they're going to have to really make that time up in the corners compared to the other two, because they're going to start zooming off down the straight. Around turn 13, down towards the final 2 corners for the penultimate time for the sprint. And into the final corner they go, as the Mercedes, a prodigy, has gone off the road. I don't think he's out. He's hit the wall, lost his entire front wing. He's going to try and not get it beached in the gravel. It's looking more and more like a two-way fight. A two-way fight for pole position as Little Mo and Lewis come together there at turn 1. It looked like just as I jumped on board with Little Mo, he wasn't left enough space. And I'm sure, yeah, Lewis going very aggressive now, showing his intent, showing his feelings. He's going to be able to defend around the outside. Tall order as Little Mo has the inside. For turn 7, is the Ferrari going to concede? No, he doesn't. Keeps the place, pushes Little Mo off the road. It's getting very feisty indeed. And then gets hit in the rear from Chuck, who's now getting involved with this fight as well. It's looking more and more likely Josh McGill's going to take the pole position for the sprint, for the race, and win the sprint. But what's going to happen for the battle for 6th? Going down towards turn 11 for the final time. DRS open for Little Mo, but not close enough. Didn't get enough speed to get alongside for turn 11. There's the top 2. About to come into turn 14. Look at that, Little Mo again, pushing Lewis around turn 13, then gets out of shape. He's able to keep it under control as Josh McGill wins the sprint, takes the pole for the race, takes the point for pole. Paul Jones is 3rd. Matthew, as we see this battle ensuing between Chuck and Little Mo, who looks like he's lost a place here. It's a drag race. Look at this, to the line. Chuck, then Little Mo, then Ginge, all separated by less than a tenth. And then there's a car crash down the middle of the straight. Wow, wow, wow. That was a very exciting final lap of the sprint. So, there you go. The result of the sprint. Josh McGill takes the point and takes pole. And nice job, mate. He's 2nd. 3rd is Paul Jones. Matthew will be starting 4th. 5th will be RTG Lee. Lewis will be 6th. 7th will be Chuck. 8th will be Little Mo. Ginger will start 9th. 10th for short Marcus, who was the first driver actually to lose places from qualifying. 11th was D-Mac. 12th is Danny. 13th is Matty Jones. Prodigy, who started on pole for the sprint, is going to be starting the race in 14th. Royal Rumble starting 15th. 16th for Pippa Kennedy. 17th for RTG Prof. Looney Man will be starting 18th. 19th for Chuck and 20th for Ross G. Looney Man, Chuck and Ross G all did not finish this sprint. So I'm just going to have a little break a second because we're going to get the lobby restarted because obviously the safety car's being off and that you can't change it between sprint and race. So just give me 2 minutes just to have a quick drink and I'll be back with you within 2 or 3 minutes at most. So, I'm back, and we're just waiting for other drivers to get into the lobby. Of course, it's the first time for us doing it this way, so it might take a few more minutes to get going. So yeah, just gonna sit and wait. Just seen little Mo saying that the Ferrari that was ahead of him was brake checking him. Seen that in the comments, and John saying that some drivers have a lot of desire. Bahrain's quite a good track to race at. To be fair, it's definitely one of the best. It's up there. So while we wait, if anyone hasn't already and joined us beforehand, sorry if people have been here from the start. I feel like I'm a bit like Crofty with the Sky Glass meme. If you haven't watched already, check out the highlight videos from last week, from Australia in Tier 1 a week ago, and from Thursday Tier 2 last week as well, all in that one video, and moments of the week from Australia as well. On now on a short video as well, so make sure to check those out. Like the video as well, guys, please. It is actually boosting the channel a little bit when you put some likes on the video, so I'm appreciating that as well, and make sure to keep subscribing, obviously for more content, which I'm starting to try and bring out now. So we've got 18 of the 20 drivers in the lobby, still waiting for 2. So I'm pretty sure they would have had the grid ready now. They've just got to wait to slot the other 2 in when they eventually turn up, hopefully in a minute or so. Not too sure how long admins are going to be prepared to wait for them to turn up. Obviously, we're just trying to get them in, I'm sure, and ready for the race. Getting some lobby option updates. Not seeing any more than the 18 in just yet. Might have 2 drivers who've decided not to carry on, which is a shame. But I won't speak too soon. And just remember as well, guys, we've got, I think it's next week's race, and then we're going to have a bit of time off. So John saying some of the driver's standards are a little bit poor. I have to admit, John, I think sometimes it's actually the game. I know that sounds a little bit silly, but the game mechanic sometimes is a bit strange in this year's iteration. So again, I'll just be back in a minute. This was taking a little bit longer than I thought. So yeah, give me 2 minutes and I'll be back again. Just going to get myself another drink because I've already drank mine. So, oh no, I won't actually. And so we're starting to get a countdown now. So I'm just getting ready to get back underway. Of course, drivers as well are going to have to pick their setups again. So hopefully no one forgets about that. No, I know you're not having a go. I know you're not having a go, John. It's Joe, by the way. I don't know if you knew my name. I have said it a few times. But yeah, no, I know it's just an observation. It's just nice to obviously have a bit of a conversation without Lee being here. Of course, only being with him on a Thursday this season. And so got 18 of the 20. Not sure who we've lost. Not Chuckle. Not too sure who we've lost actually. But anyway, yeah, 29 laps. It's usually a 2-stop here as well. We can sometimes see a 1-stop, not always though. So have to to wait and see. We'll get on the race director, see what drivers are going on, what strategies. Of course, they'll have like a preset. The other beautiful thing, actually, I said it in the qualifying about the sprint. They have to be careful about tyres, but they're not going to have to worry about it for the race course because they've all had like a reset, a refresh of tyres now. As this is like a brand new session for in-game terms, so they've got that luxury of fresh sets galore. Bit of a mix, mainly mediums. Got one driver on the hards, one driver on the softs. Pippa Kennedy's and one driver on the hard tyres. Chuck's the only one on the softs as of right now. My guess would be they'll put their setups on first before dealing with strategy, so we might have a little bit of a longer wait than we usually do. So Prodigy going on the softs, obviously having that disappointing sprint result after starting on pole, now down in 14th. Yeah, no, that is true. That is true, John. Like obviously we were better lucky with safety cars, but to be fair, it wasn't always because of like bad racing. It was people just going off making mistakes and the game being a little bit too quick to bring out a safety car. So that was a little bit unlucky last week, but it did work a bit better, I think, the sprint there without the safety car. So at least we got a full 10 laps of racing for the sprint. Right, here we go. We got 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights. And we are away with Josh McGill on pole for the race itself in Bahrain. Nice job, mate, getting a decent launch. But Matthew looking like he's getting an excellent start here. On the inside as we go towards turn 1. Got a McLaren going at the inside of 4 cars there as well in the background. That would be Chuckle trying to make up some places. Matthew and Paul Jones going side by side through turn 2. And as we go up the hill towards turn 4, we've got Ginge, D-Mac, there's a few of them, Looney Man as well, who's dropped all the way to the back and got to get themselves back on the circuit again after having, it looks like a major coming together actually at turn 2 and 3. Pippo Kennedy now trying to go at the inside and now going to have to make it around the outside, but they come together and he's gone off the track onto the concrete runoff. So hasn't hit any barriers and got himself back into the race. Qualified for parts in a dangerous location. Lewis G, who got himself beached on the gravel there and is out within 3 corners. Very, very unlucky. That is disappointing and unfortunate for the Scotsman. It's the end of his round 2 as we go round turn 12 and into turn 13. Matthew up into 3rd now, of course, winning last week in Australia, making the place on the man ahead of him for the win. It was for 2nd actually, we're probably having a time penalty, but it was around the outside at turn 9 at Australia. I said in the commentary then it was high risk, high reward, and he got the biggest reward he could that day as we go on to lap 2. Of course, Josh taking the fastest lap, setting the lap time first. Nice job, mate, going up the inside. Getting on the brakes later and getting the move done without the aid of the DRS. Little Mo and Prodigy going side by side here. The soft tyre is working well for the Mercedes driver. He's got the inside line on Little Mo. Not sure if he's going to put up much of a defence as he's on the medium tyre. And he's got Short Marcus just behind him. Not sure if it was Short Marcus or Lewis that he was referring to as the Ferrari brake testing. Top 10 super close together right now. We go down into turn 9 once again. No one making an error there is the Alpine moving out of the way of Prodigy, who's already up from 14th to 5th in 1.5 laps, ladies and gents. Of course, last week as well we saw Prodigy, who's already up from 14th to 5th in 1.5 laps, ladies and gents. Of course, last week as well we saw Prodigy, who's already up from 14th to 5th in 1.5 laps, ladies and gents. Of course, last week as well we saw nice job, mate. Win. Oh, apologies for my telly. Not sure I've done that a couple of times recently. Bear with it. I'm sure it will come back. You guys can still see, but I can't. There we go. We get it back on there. I got my screen back in again as we go down towards the final 2 corners with the leaders. And then we'll have DRS enabled for the first time in this race as we go on to lap 3. But of course, we won't get it until the end of this straight. And going on to the next as we go into turn 1. And Josh obviously not trying to go for an overtake, but he's going to now. Nice job, mate, making a big mistake there at turn 2 and 3. Got out of shape on the rear and it's made him vulnerable as we get on the brakes for turn 4. He's got the inside line, squeezing the McLaren out, but he's been able to keep them. He's been able to keep on the circuit actually, and just had to back out of it anyway as Josh was coming wide across the circuit there at turn 4 as we go down into turn 8. And there's like a big gap now. After 12th place, and there's definitely 2 sort of packs that have now formed already on the 3rd lap as Matthew looks like he locked up there, as well as his teammate of RTG Lee, who's getting some front locking of the front left going into turn 10. He said it's notorious for mistakes and understeer and lockings up, and even getting on the power, it can be tricky at that corner. It's definitely an all-rounder for difficulty. Turn 10 as we go through turn 13, up and over the crest and down the hill. And as I said, this is the only straight without DRS at the Bahrain International Circuit as we go into the final 2 corners. Is anyone going to get on the attack? Who's deciding to save battery? Who's deciding to use it? Matthew looks like he's using it right now to close that gap. It's a nice job, mate. Making it a little bit more difficult though, not having the DRS ahead of him. Prodigy now up another place into 4th. Got the front 3 just ahead of him. It's a brilliant comeback drive so far in the first 3 laps. Not seeming so feisty like it was before. Obviously, people thinking about survival, longevity of the race. It's 2 times longer than the sprint. Pippo Kennedy and Ginger jostling for positions. Hard tyres versus mediums. The hards are looking really rather nice actually as he has the grip around the outside, and Pippo not looking up the inside there, but of course thought about it, but thought better of it as Prof goes up on the inside of D-Mac for the final places. And they're just getting into turn 1. Nice job, mate. And Josh McGill, the front 2, are just going into turn 13. And again, D-Mac and Prof switching places as they go into turn 4. D-Mac making contact there with Prof, and he had to back out. He went off the road actually, but I think that was more the rear getting out of shape on the Mercedes rather than any malicious intent there. As Sean Marcus now goes for a lunge at turn 14 and gets the move done. He's going to get DRS as well on Little Mo. He's having a really good race right now, and sprints as the leaders now switching places. Nice job, mate, trying to go at the inside. Josh McGill defending to the inside at turn 2, and they're now going to have a drag race up the hill towards turn 4. But Josh not having DRS, and he's got the Alpine behind him as well. So he's going to have to look in his mirrors whilst looking to his side. There we go, Matthew trying to go at the inside, but then loses the place to Prodigy. He's now on the rostrum already on lap 5. He's got some serious pace and got the bit between his teeth, I think, after falling down after losing it on the exit of turn 15 on the penultimate lap of the sprint. Ginge and Pippo Kennedy switching places again. We saw it before at turn 5, 6 and 7. Let's make our run into turn 11. No one looking to the inside or the outside. No one going for it just yet. It's Danny though as he gets closer and closer to Chuckle, who's down in the midfield. Not somewhere where that driver's used to being up in the top 5 at the very, very least. Pippo and Ginge again going side by side. Ginge up the Pippo at the inside at turn 11. Trying to use medium tyres to his advantage. Of course, a step softer than the hard tyre, but I have found in F123 the hard tyre seems to be quite a good race tyre actually, and it has got some pace once they heat up. Here goes Prodigy, and here goes Josh McGill. Nice job, lost 2 places in one straight, and now Prodigy trying to look around the outside, then got the inside for turn 2. Loses momentum, slots back in. Nice job, mate. Now looking up the inside. It's going to be 3 wide as we go towards turn 4 with nice job, mate, on the inside. Josh in the middle and Prodigy on the outside. And Prodigy looks like he didn't get the grip he wanted on the outside and wasn't able to go for it. Josh holds on for another few corners at least, maybe another lap. But I'm sure that they're going to be hounding him for that position as the top 5 all so close together. Now breaking away from 6th and behind. And again, 5 different cars in the top 5, 6 different cars in the top 6. So nice to see for a constructor's point of view. For a long, long way to go. Josh now getting a bit of air between him and Prodigy, a bit of breathing space, but is he going to be able to get enough to get out of DRS? He's trying his best, but then when we go down the straight, Prodigy looking like he's got a super quick car, got a yellow flag. That's DMAC and Prof who have come together for the final places. I'm sure Prof is going to be fuming, well, they're both going to be fuming about that, because you really don't want to be fighting too aggressively. You want to sort of try and gain as much time back as you possibly can as Nice Job Mate gets past Prodigy towards turn 1. The softs are going to start going off a little bit now, and is it going to turn into a 1 or 2 stop for Prodigy? Of course, he's used up a lot of battery, would have used up a lot of that tyre as well to get through the field to where he is now, so it's compromises really. He hasn't used a bit too much of the rubber to do a 1 stop now. He's going to have to pit in the next few laps for a 2 stop, maybe a soft, medium, soft. That would most likely be the best option, since they've got a whole range of fresh tyres after the session was reset. But again, Prodigy making up a load of ground, but now having to look in his mirrors as he or Matthew, I think, locked up there into turn 10. Up the hill, through turn 12, down into 13 is Chuckle, I think, getting past at turn 12, round the outside. And Danny trying to look up the inside again, but no, not able to get past just yet, as Matty Jones as well bearing down on the 2 ahead of them. Matthew now getting up into the podium places as Josh not looking like he's going to become under threat here from Nice Job Mate into turn 1. No, pretty comfortable is Chuck now at the inside of Little Mose. Had an adventurous sprint and maybe trying to keep his nose a little bit cleaner in the race. Not saying he not necessarily did anything wrong, but he got into a few scraps towards the end of the sprint and has to settle for 8th place at the moment. So, as we make our way around turn 8 and turn 9, again, like we saw in the sprint, no one being able to break the gap of DRS, as Matthew makes a mistake there at turn 9 and 10. The whole car looked like it locked up and just started to go sideways. Lost a couple of places. Could have been a lot worse for him, though, as we see an Aston Martin. I think that's Looney Man who's gone round there. I think it was at turn 8 is Pippo and Ginge side by side on the exit of turn 10. Ginge getting the DRS, moves from the right to the left, outside to the inside. Is he going to be later on the brake? The hard tyres will probably start to become the better tyre of the 2 sooner or later, and he's been able to hold on to Pippo Kennedy for quite a long time and cause him an issue as well, and would have surely been annoying the Jamaican as we go down the back straight. There we go. First time today, Josh McGill has been able to break the DRS Commentator's curse, just got back into it. But did he get back into it in time for that detection point? As we go to the activation point, heard a beep, but no wing open. So no, it was just on the cusp and was just out of it as they got to the activation point. And oh, again, these two coming together, DMAC and Prof. Oh, didn't catch it, but I'm sure they're both getting a bit hot under the collar, I think. So third distance in the race. As it stands, Josh McGill still outside of that DRS window and been able to, is trying to break away, gain some time and leave. Nice job, make vulnerable to Prodigy just behind him. This will just trying to work out with Josh a second. Bear with me one sec. Yeah, so he finished 17th last week, so this will be a big turnaround for him if he can stay up in the top 3, top 5, with Matthew winning last week. Nice job in the same place he finished last week right now, so looking pretty strong for him as well. Obviously being back after being away for season 13. Short Marcus up the inside of Matthew. Matthew now just starting to lose ground, unfortunately. Not too sure what's going on with the Alpine driver, but he's losing momentum, potentially losing some confidence. As I said, it's very much a mental game, racing, and if you lose your confidence, you lose your speed all at the same time. As we go into turn 4, Little Mo just behind Chuck, showing some decent pace in the last race, and again looking like he's showing some good pace in this one. Matty Jones, I'm watching right now, just at the back of this trainer cars up to Chuck. Pippo and Ginge once again stuck together like glue. Been able to break away from one another. They've almost been holding each other's hands in the first third of this race. So again, as we go back to the front, Josh McGill within that 1.5 second margin. There goes Prodigy into the pits on lap 11. Croft gets himself a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. What on earth is going on with these two? What on earth? We've now started to see some drivers pit. Where's Prodigy going to come out? He's trundling down the pit lane at around 80 kilometres an hour. Where is he going to pop out? There goes Lee. He's going to come out with this battle, I think, with Ginge and Pippo Kennedy. As he gets to the line to put foot flat to the floor. He's got Pippo Kennedy and Ginge just behind him. I think he might have timed this perfectly here, as I don't think he's going to get involved with these two. As soon as he gets his tyres up to temperature, once he gets into sort of the mid part of the lap, those tyres will be back up to temperature. They're a little bit cold. Is Ginge again trying to go at the inside, and Pippo has to go onto the marbles there around the outside. I wonder, I'd love to know how many times those two have changed places as Luluman gets past Royal Rumble for some of the final places. So we've just seen DMAC retire from the session. Apologies, I was quiet for a little bit too long there as I muted my mic. We've got this remote coming into the pits. These guys coming in maybe a little bit early. These guys might be going for a 2-stop. Prodigy looking like he's trying a 1-stop as he goes for the hard tyres. He makes his way around the final corner. Where is he going to pop out? Here comes Short Marcus down the pit lane. He's changed tyres for the hard tyre as well. Pippo goes through. Sorry. Yeah, Pippo goes through as well. Short Marcus then pops out behind those two. Lisfamo and Chuck, though, might get close with Lee here as he makes his way into turn 1. Obviously going to have the racing line, so taking more corner entry into 1 and 2. And going to have the tyre warm-up as well, so he might close that gap a little bit more. Top 7 are yet to pit. Ginger and Pippo are yet to pit. Everyone else has done their mandatory pit stop. Prof has stopped twice and is quite a long way behind right now. Top 4 all on the medium tyre. Chuckle on the hard, so going to be going longer. Is he going to do the reverse of what what Prodigy has done? Keep getting those two mixed up today. Prodigy has done. He went on the softs until a lap 11 and came out on lap 12 on the hard tyre. Is he going to do the kind of opposite? Are we going to see him come in about Chuckle coming in about lap 17, 18? The way this is going on, this is looking more and more like it's going to be a fashionable one stop more than two. I think that's kind of what's going to most of the drivers are going to do here. Is Chuckle now up into third? It's a McLaren 2-3. It's just for a split second, it was a Williams 4-5, but of course Paul being in the pits is going to now lose places as Prodigy sets the fastest lap at 1:32.007. And here we go, busy pit exit towards at turn 1, with Matthew just popping out just ahead of a Short Marcus here, who pit the lap before. I'm not 100% sure how close these two were when Short Marcus pit, but they are as close as they could be on a racetrack as we go through turn 4, both on the same tyre. But of course, Short Marcus getting on that tyre 1 lap earlier will have the tyre temperature at this point in the lap. But this isn't a place in the lap where overtakes happen too often. Look, Josh just gaining a bit more time now, almost at 2 seconds after floating around the 1.5 second mark for quite a while, 5 or 6 laps. But out of these 4 in the top 5 who are on mediums, who are yet to pit, who's going to be the first one to roll the dice and come in? I think it's nice job, mate. There you go. He's made his way in. Going to try the undercut. He's within that window of getting an undercut. Now Josh is going to have to do the best sort of race quali lap he can on these used mediums to have a chance of staying in the lead once these two get into turn 1, because I'm sure it'll be very close. 5-second penalty for Matty Jones for speeding in the pit lane. Not seen too many of those today. There goes Prodigy. Obviously done an undercut on Nice Job Mate, but of course now got the tyre advantage of being on a brand new set that's 3 laps newer than the driver ahead of him. And between them they've got Prof there just going through turn 4, who's now been lapped. But Josh surely going to have to pit now, not using much battery, so is he waiting to use that on his out lap after the pit stop? Some drivers like to use a sort of a mix of using a bit of battery before and then using it afterwards as well. And some use it all before and save it on the new tyres later on, because they've got the pace of the new tyre, and so they compromise it without using the battery when they come back out of the pits. As he's now using it down the back straight, just a dab of it, just to give him the momentum as he hits the brakes for turn 14. Slight lock up. Those tyres are definitely going to be almost past their sell-by date, and now he's into the pit lane. This is going to become very interesting as he is flat to the floor on the brake pedal, and all 4 tyres started locking as Nice Job Mate's going down the back straight towards turn 14, as we're at the half point of the race now. And Josh has been serviced, got a new set of boots, and Prodigy I think may take the lead here, the net lead. Here comes Nice Job Mate. Is it going to be an undercut from him? Here comes Josh McGill out of the pits. No, the overcut seemed to have worked there. Even Orsat, welcome along if this is your first time watching. We've had a sprint before this. And as you can see, we're into the 50% race about halfway through, and you're getting to the point now where all pit stops have been sorted out, and it's looking like more like a race to the finish, as we've got a yellow flag in sectors 1 and 2 that was flashing away, but it's been cleared up quickly. So that undercut has helped. He's got himself back within DRS. He gained about a second from coming in a lap before Josh McGill. They have got Prodigy up ahead, who's had a blinding race after a pretty dreadful sprint, all culminating in him having an accident at the final couple of laps of that sprint and dropping down to, I think it was 14th. He started the race after starting on pole for the sprint, so made up for a lot of lost time. But he's going to have these two eking out time on him every lap now for a good few laps, as they've got the optimal grip. Chuckle now into the pit, so surely going for the medium tyre to the end. And where would he pop out? I think it'll be, it's going to be around, it's going to be interesting, maybe at the back of here, just behind Pippo Kennedy, might be my guess here, is Ginge running truly having a drag race here with Lee, and they're closing on Little Mo as well, and they're Lee brave on the brakes as the other car ahead of him judged that perfectly as Chuckle pops out just behind Pippo Kennedy, just ahead of Danny and Matty Jones, who are jostling for 13th place at the moment. So look at that, after Prodigy pitting early, obviously being on the softs to start off with, so he didn't have a choice, he didn't have any choice but to pit early, has now lost all that time made up with the early undercut, and he's got the two right behind him now within DRS range. And one after the other getting the fastest lap as well, now down to a 1:31.522 for the fastest lap, and that's being held by Nice Job Mate right now. Look at this again, getting closer and closer, but surely going to be biding their time would be my guess, is they know they've got the tyre advantage and still a lot of time to go. And we do see it a lot in RTG with drivers sort of staying within the slipstream, getting the tow with the DRS and just waiting for the best moment and being patient. And that's another key thing to your racing, just being patient and knowing when to go for it and when not to go for it. Again, probably close enough to go for it, but hasn't. As we now go into turn 13. A quick look on battery, actually. We don't really do this for me, who's streaming, but we'll have a look. So 41%, around the 40% mark for Nice Job Mate. Josh McGill about the same, and then Prodigy with the lowest, who, if it, you know, in an ideal situation, he would have the highest amount of battery. And there we go. Here we go. DRS open for Josh McGill, and I don't think he's even going to have to lunge into turn one. It's almost going to be 3 wide, actually. Nice Job Mate had a look on the inside, but that gap was closing. Could have gone for the inside, but didn't want to take the risk, because held back. Prodigy, though, will be fighting for this, because this is awful position now between these three. And look at that. Nice Job Mate going to the inside, taking out one of the brake marker boards, with Josh McGill getting ultra aggressive there down the back straight towards turn 4, and it's put Prodigy back into the lead again. That was a little bit heart in the mouth moment there, is Josh showing his intent, being very aggressive there, and not really leaving enough space. Lucky there was obviously concrete tarmac runoff there. Otherwise, I don't think he would have been that aggressive. And nice job, mate. May have to be a little bit smarter now. Think about it. Think about where he's going to get the move, and this might be a state of harvesting, recharging the battery to go for an attack. But as I said, we saw it in the sprint. We've seen it at the start of the race. It's so hard when you're in the lead, when you've got drivers as pretty much as quick as you, to break that DRS toe. So this might become a stalemate for the time being. And Danny losing a place there to Ginge. And once he left them, just for a second, Prodigy was in the lead. Ala turn 14. He's now down in third with Josh McGill back up into the lead. That's a nice job got past as well as Paul Jones trying to make it work around the outside, but harder than it looks, and was unable to get it done there as we go to the front three as they went through turn 4. No position changes. Short markers and Paul Jones going side by side now, both on the hard tyres. Paul just getting the grip and getting the better exit to move up into 4th place. Down the hill into turn 9 and 10. Lockups, we've seen so many of them, and again seeing another one. I think that was from nice job, mate, as these three now just started to settle a little bit more. It was almost starting to bubble over a couple of laps ago up at turn 4. Prodigy now just dropping out of that DRS window, and again it's starting to look like a 2-horse race. But still a decent amount of time to go. We've got 10 laps remaining. Is Ginge now on the inside of Matthew Jones at turn 13? Don't see many moves there, and didn't see one as it didn't pay off. Whoa, Ginge braking late there and having to go straight on, hoping Matty will turn in at the right point so they can miss each other, and Ginge now diving into the so another sector's passed, and another around half a second has been gained on Prodigy, who's starting to sit in no man's land a little bit, obviously having the fantastic start on the soft tyres, but that strategy starting to hurt him now in the latter stages, having the oldest of the oldest set of the drivers on hard tyres. Around half a second between first and second. Nice job, mate. He was in this position last week. He was the one to lose out on the win, but he was the one being hunted last time around. This time it's opposites, with Matthew down in 4th, and if it were to stay like this, I think Nice Job Mate would be leading the championship as we went into round 3, obviously getting 2 second places as Matthew's down in 4th right now, but he's under pressure from Paul Jones and short markers behind him as well, so he's got some work to do with the rear light flashing. Here goes Paul Jones on the inside, seeing the rear light flashing, knowing that he's deracing, losing power as we go down the start-finish straight. And Paul's now up to 4th place, our Thursday champion from last season. And Prodigy really now is in no man's land and actually losing time to 4th, 5th and 6th. Little Mo been in a lot of battles today. Just lost out on another one. To Chuckle, he's up into 8th. He's having a better race than he did sprint. That's James there, getting all over the curves, and you could hear the gearbox and engine not enjoying the demands he was putting on the rear tyres and the rear axle. It looked like the car was jumping all over the place on the exit. Josh again just starting to build a gap once again. Now 9/10 just over that, and nice job, mate, using all of the battery that he can to keep within DRS, just like Josh McGillis, to break it. And of course, they're still so close that if Josh makes a slight error, he's going to be right on the back or even ahead. So, starting to become a bit of a pressure cooker at the front. A bit of a pressure cooker here as well is Matthew, trying to take back the fourth that he lost on lap 20. When we go on to lap 22, he's back up into fourth. Interesting fight here for fourth place is Matthew Jones, getting past with ease there. Doesn't even have to worry about it, just had to move to the side. The AlphaTauri wasn't, and the speed just let him sail on by. So the race is just started to calm down a little bit. Whoa, look at that there, short Marcus. Looked like the whole car was sliding completely through turn 8. The Haas looking like the drivers on Haas looking like they're starting to struggle, actually. Wonder what's going on in Nice Job's head right now. He's got the DRS to help him along, got 3 of those straights to give him a hand. It's certainly keeping him in the fight. It's sort of looking like in the third sector though that Josh McGill has got the pace on him actually right now. But of course these first 2 sectors having the 3 DRS zones will certainly give him that advantage. And that's kind of the catch-22 of DRS as well. I mean, if we didn't have it, probably wouldn't see so many battles. And on the other hand, for the driver in front, it's always frustrating because it feels like they're getting a little bit of a handicap. Yeah, it is a bit of swings and roundabouts with the DRS. I'm always a bit on the fence with it. Sometimes I like it. Certain tracks I like it, certain tracks I don't. This one, I think maybe we should drop 1 and just have the 2. I think this straight would be the one that I would drop the DRS, actually. I think 2 after one another are actually quite interesting, especially with 2 detection points. Sorry, it does mix it up. When they've only got 1 detection point, I think it really that's where we've got a big issue with the DRS. Yeah, so Prodigy really just sitting well on his own now. There, you just saw the Williams just about to come into turn 13, so there's quite a big gap between them. Chuckle now moved up on his brother. It's this fight though I'm so interested in. We've got a few laps to go, only about a handful left, and they've just been trading lap times, just sticking with each other. Paul Jones not bothering to go defensive here, letting Matthew have the inside, which usually means they'll get past. But no, Paul, knowing that he'll have the inside for 2, tries to keep with him, but doesn't have DRS, so just going to have to try and get in the slipstream. And short Marcus just holding back, not wanting to take the risk just yet, where we'll probably see it in the next few laps, where it will become absolutely crucial. But again, might be in a state of charging the battery. It's so difficult though to charge it because you've got such an urge to press the button. You know you get that extra around 180 horsepower to play with. So tempted to press it, but obviously having a bit more at the end can really make a big difference. So just before we got a few laps to go, anyone that's watching that hasn't already and just joined us this evening, thank you very much for watching for what little or as much as you have done. If you liked what you've seen, please smash that subscribe button, hit the like button on the video and share it to your friends, and join the league as well, which is at the top of the YouTube page. There's a Discord link for the league. We did used to have 3 days, may get them back again if we get the numbers back up. So if you guys want to join, we were doing it on the Wednesday. Obviously don't take my word as gospel at all. Quite happy with the 2 at the moment, but you know, get yourselves in, get a reserve spot if you want to have a full-time spot as well, because you're going to be able to get involved with action like this, with short markers going up the inside at turn 1. So many moves being had at turn 1, and these 3 have not given up whatsoever. Look at that, nothing between those 2. A credit card's width between the front axles of that Williams and Ferrari, and short markers had the inside for 4 and then had the inside for turn 6, and he's used that to move up to 5th. Again, look at this, Josh McGill gaining a bit of time, but then with his DRS straight, he's nice job, mate, just been able to claw it back. But I think this point onwards, Josh is quicker and he's got a bit more pace through the last part of sector 2 and sector 3. Yeah, nice job, mate, taking a slightly shallower line there than Josh, and Josh being able to open the corner and get the power down quicker on the exit of turn 13. As we cross the line with the 2 leaders, we're going to have 4 laps to go. And still not too sure which one of these 2 are going to win this. It's looking more and more likely it is going to be these 2, as they've just pulled away from Prodigy, who, fair play to him, actually, he's had a fantastic race itself. Matthew again, looking in his rear view mirror. The driver who won last week, looking like he's going to have to settle for a lower position. Chuck gets past Chuckle, and we haven't seen a safety car or a VSC this entire race, which has been the complete opposite of what we had last week. And not really had any need for the safety car either, actually. Nice job, mate, getting closer again. So just so you guys know, what we're really going to be focusing on now for the last few laps is this fight for the win, of course, because that's what everyone wants to see, who actually wins the entire event. Of course, the whole event being the sprint as well. So interesting to see that. And this one as well, I'm liking this battle for 4th between these 3. That they've just been stuck together like magnets for the last 10 laps or so, and it's been really respectful actually between those 3. It's been quite enjoyable to watch as we go into turn 14 and 15 with Josh McGill, and nice job, mate. 3 laps to go. It is starting to become crunch time. You can see the Mercedes in the very distance there, who's getting further and further, losing more and more time every lap, and the hards for him are just not working like these 2. Nice job, mate. Just saved a bit more battery. They've got almost identical batteries. Obviously, nice job, mate, having the DRS aid, unlike Josh. But Josh having straight line speed, and that sector 3 is working well for him. Down the back straight we go towards turn 4, through turn 4 already, actually. As we go further back, we haven't looked for a little while. Here goes Pippo Kennedy. He's going to look on the inside of Matty Jones, who's flashing away, just showing that he's not got any battery to defend with, but he's going to use the brakes to defend and try and brake later, and then he's on the inside. But again, it was getting very close, and he had to back out of it. And Pippo now up to 12th place. Prodigy and Chuckle, both up 10 places. And we'll talk about driver of the day. I'm thinking it's more and more likely going to be Prodigy, actually. He's just, even though he had a really unfortunate end to the sprint, has made up for it here, and after getting pole for the sprint as well. So he's had a pretty good outing, just with the one bit just here, actually, that cost him at the exit of turn 15. Penultimate lap. And I feel like, nice job, mate, is leading this to the very last lap into turn 1. He's had a lot of time to study Josh, where he's stronger, where he's weaker than him. But has he done his homework in time? Is he going to get the result that he needs? He really wants an A for this, I think. Nice job, mate. He got a B last week, coming second. But Josh Miguel had a big turnaround in performance after finishing 17th last week. As the siblings fighting for position again. Here goes Chuck on the inside. Demands the inside and actually pushes the McLaren, his brother, across further to the racing line, and now moves up into 7th place. I think Matthew actually just starting to find a bit more time at his disposal, just to give himself a little bit of breathing space as we go on to the final lap, going into turn 13 for the penultimate time with the top two. Nice job, mate. That McLaren looking a little out of shape there. It looked like the rear just stepped out a little bit on him. As we now make our way around the final corner and on to the final lap. Here we go. DRS will be open. The overtake button surely pressed and draining as much as he can. He's getting closer and closer. Josh McGill defending that inside line. He's going to try and go around the outside. Gets so close to him, but not close enough to make any contact or anything. Now he's got to get a good run out of turn 2 and 3 as we make our way up the hill. DRS enabled. This is probably the next best opportunity for him in this final lap. Going to try it around the outside again. It worked for Matthew last week at turns 9 and 10. It's not working for Nice Job, Mate, right now. Now we're going to go through turn 6 and 7. Down the hill towards turn 8. Is he going to go for it here? No. He's got 1 or 2 more opportunities, and he's so close. He's got to get every corner exit right now, especially this one. Turns 9 and 10, the trickiest corners on this circuit. As they round the corner, DRS open. This could be his very last chance. And I think he's dealt all his cards because he just hasn't got the momentum. And Josh has been absolutely excellent defending here. Chuck looks like he's round at turn 8 on that final lap. Are we going to see any more places switch around? Doesn't look like it. Here comes Nice Job, Mate. This really is his final chance, but he's not close enough, nowhere near close enough. Gets his late on the brakes as he possibly can. Chuckles now round as well. The two brothers have spun out on the final lap. Josh McGill wins his first race of season 14. Nice Job, Mate comes home in second for the second consecutive week as Prodigy gets to the line. He finished 4th last week. He gets on the podium this week. Our winner from last week, Matthew, is going to finish 4th. Short Marker's 5th. Paul Jones 6th. Those three were close for so many laps. Here comes little Mo, who finished 8th last week. He's going to finish 7th this week. It's improvement from the American as Chuck gets gifted the place here. That was interesting. Chuckle and Chuck gifted the place by Lee. That was very nice of him. As Danny comes home in 11th. 12th for Pippo Kennedy as he makes his way to the line. Wow. Nice change not to have any safety cars. That was a big thumbs up from me, though, actually. Very interesting between Josh and Nice Job, Mate. The championship's going to, be a little bit different now. I think Nice Job, Mate's going to be leading the championship out of this one as we go to round 3, which is Imola next week. So there we go, Royal Rumble crossing the line, and that's the end of our second round of season 14. We'll just get the final classifications up. My driver of the day as well, Prodigy. That was a very, very good effort from him, actually, so I agree with the game on that one. So there you go. Nice. Josh McGill wins his first race of this season. Excellent performance from him. Started on pole and turned that into a victory. Nice job, mate. Finished second. Prodigy finished third, his first podium of the season as well. Matthew finished fourth. Short Marcus was fifth. Paul Jones was sixth. Little Mo up another place from last week is in seventh. Eighth for Chuckle. Chuck was ninth. RTG Lee finished 10th. Danny was 11th. 12th is Pippo Kennedy. Ginge is 13th. 14th, Matty Jones. Looney Man finished 15th. Royal Rumble finished 16th. 17th for Prof, who was the only one that was a lap down, and DMAC and Lewis both retired from the race. So you could just bear with me a second. We've got some drivers in for an interview, so just bear with me a second, guys. I'm literally just going to run and get a drink because I haven't had one the whole race. Give me 2 seconds.
Come on, Josh. This is where you're supposed to entertain the stream.
Or you, Prod. You're the entertainer.
Should we talk about how that race went?
Yeah, it was sweaty, I would say, to say the least.
I was definitely like I really wanted to battle you two right at the top, but I think my tires were 20% when you caught up to me. So that wasn't
As soon as I saw you pit quite early, I thought I'm going to stay out for a while.
Well, I had to.
I knew you were fast, so I thought I need an offset. Because if I pitted like a lap later, I think you definitely could have held it.
Yeah,
so I've got to do something a bit different.
I had to do something different from the start, so you know, I saw loads of people going mediums. I was like, yeah, well, I've got to do something different just to get to the top. So
Taking over my stream,
nice
gents.
job, saved a lot of battery. We did.
You're welcome.
How are you guys? You alright?
Yeah, good, mate. How you doing?
Bit tired. That was a bit of a hard race, that one.
We'll start with Josh. Well, nice job, mate. Didn't make it easy for you, did he? For the pretty much the whole second half of the race. That was, as you said, looked like a sweaty one. Sweaty for me as well, but for you guys, it looked interesting.
Yeah, it was. To be honest, I did think I was a bit faster than him because I'd pull quite a bit in the first and third, and then DRS would claw him right back. But he'd obviously saved a lot of battery towards the last lap, which is what I thought he was doing, and he was rapid on the last lap. He had me worried on the last lap. I had to defend pretty hard. Yeah,
so I was saying that in commentary actually, that I thought in sector 3 you were, well, the second part of sector 2 and sector 3, I thought, look, for me, that's where you were stronger.
Yeah, agreed.
What kind of setup were you using? Was it sort of lower downforce then, seeing as there's quite a lot of straights in the last well, it's quite a lot of straights everywhere at Bahrain, to be fair.
I think I was 33, 35, somewhere in the middle. So I think I know there was quite a few people running a bit higher than that. So yeah, I think I was somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I was surprised as well that he didn't even try and go to the inside on the last lap. He kind of, because you sort of went I felt like you went in the middle and kind of sort of went, you can choose where you're going.
That was my thinking. It was kind of like, I thought I'd let him make the decision and go off there, because I feel like that first corner, you can go around the outside quite easy. So I didn't really want to fully go inside. Because then I thought if he sends it, I can either just switch back or hold it around the outside. But he kind of did neither, which surprised me as well. I thought he'd definitely send it.
Yeah, he. You must have been booking it as well on that out lap. Oh, sorry, in lap when he went in the lap before, because obviously he'd closed that gap, but you still came out ahead, which actually I was quite shocked about. I thought because there was only about a 1.8 second gap when he went in, that I thought it was pretty much going to be side by side into turn 1, but obviously you must have done a pretty good out lap. And I noticed as well you weren't really using battery on that in lap, which was...
Yeah, the tyres still felt good, to be honest. It was really weird. Like, everyone in the party was saying other mediums were mudded, and I probably would have done a couple more laps if Prod wasn't so quick. But Prod was rapid, and I didn't want him anywhere near me. So I didn't want him any further in front of me, so I thought I better pit.
So how do you feel that you sort of progressed? Because last week you you don't mind me saying, you had a bit of a shocker last week. So going from last week and finish, was it 17th you finished last? Yeah,
It was
17th.
qualified 18th as well. Everyone keeps reminding me.
So how do you feel like you turned it around? Were you just sort of more in the mood for it today, or was it is it just a better track for you? Or
Oh, mate, honestly, I was telling the boys last week, I despise Australia so much. If there was one track on this game you could literally burn, it would be Australia. Nothing against the Aussies, but their track is terrible. And Bahrain's literally the opposite for me. It's probably my favourite track on the game. So yeah, just a bit of luck I think with the calendar. But I got my worst race out of the way, hopefully, so that's at least something.
well, how do you feel about Imola next week?
Uh, Pretty much in the middle. I think it does good racing because there's not too many DRS zones, which I like. That's my one positive for me is I hate tracks with like loads of DRS zones. So yeah, I think it should be alright, but we'll see. It's a rapid league.
Yeah, Mondays is definitely quick. It's been very enjoyable. Anyway, congrats, mate. We'll see you next week, hopefully for Imola. I don't know if I'm doing it next week. I'm not here on Thursday, so I might be joining Lee on Monday doing it. But if not, it'll be Lee doing it. So I'll just have to watch along for that one. But anyway, good luck for next week for whatever happens.
Cheers, mate.
Prod. So firstly, you are my driver of the day today.
Ooh.
Had a really good qualifying, obviously, for the sprint. Went well, and then obviously just had that mishap with a couple of laps to go, which really cost you. But those first sort of 3, 4, 5 laps, like, did you have like NOS in the car or something? Because it was just you were so quick in the first few laps. Well, it must have been the softs actually. The softs must have felt really good.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, obviously qualifying went well. I think I was 1.5 ahead of the pack, so happy with qualifying. And then got to the sprint, and I think nice job was just being a bit overly aggressive at times. And in the end, I thought I'd wait till the end, and then I got a weird lockup into the last corner, which sent me a bit wide, and then a bit of a glitch where I got like a massive wheel spin in fourth, and that sent me into the wall. So that was weird. So and then. Obviously, going into the race, starting P14, I knew I couldn't do the same strategy as everyone else because I wouldn't go anywhere. So I decided to go on the softs, do 9 laps. And I think there was a big incident into turn 1 and /2 where a few people just went in a bit. I mean, I sent it into turn 1, but I thought I did it quite safely. But there was a few more that decided to send it a bit harder than me. And then, so I was in 7th after the second corner, and then I think I got up to 3rd within 3 laps. So it was pretty good. I enjoyed that first probably 4 or 5 laps. And then obviously towards the end, I had to go on the hards early. I ended up going a lap extra because I was in DRS. And then, yeah, by the time, nice job, and Josh caught up to me, I think my tires were already going off. So I kind of, in the end, once they kind of finished squabbling in front of me, I let them go just so I could preserve P3 and not fall down any further.
Yeah, you were kind of in no man's land towards the. That's what I said in the stream as well, that the soft tire strat at the start was going to hurt you at the end, which it did. But obviously,
it always was.
But obviously, with that massive performance you had in the first few laps, I think it's outweighs, doesn't it? I mean, you've still got a podium, got unlucky last week as well, dropping off the podium. So it's the consistency was there today in the race as well. So that seems
like last week weighed on me as well because obviously I would have won without penalties, and then I think I got the turn 2 incident on lap 1. I got a warning. And then I got a warning the same lap as well. So I was on two warnings the whole lap. So it was definitely I was not pushing the limits in the last 10 laps. I can say that much.
And how are you feeling about Imola next week?
I feel good. Imola's probably one of my better tracks. It's where I got one of my first wins in this league. So I'd say it's one of my better better tracks. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully get another pole.
Yeah, again, it's a bit bittersweet, isn't it? You got the pole, but you didn't get the point, obviously, because of the rule changes this season.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
It's a bit different. It definitely felt nice. I don't know how you both feel about this. It definitely felt nicer without safety cars in the sprint, because obviously,
Agreed.
A place like Austria, not so bad because obviously the track's so short, you have so many laps. But somewhere like Bahrain or Britain or somewhere like that, it really costs the sprint, doesn't it? Because you have such little laps that it just costs it so much time.
Well,
but no,
I've
I
always,
actually like
I've always been an advocate of no safety cars, because I think maybe for the bottom 7, it helps them catch back up, but for the top 7, it just ruins your race because your whole strategy is out the window, and then you've got to try and think on your feet, and one wrong call costs you pretty much your whole race. So I've always said leave safety cars off.
that's the other thing about league racing as well. It's like a lot of luck plays into those as well because obviously you haven't got actually someone in your ear having a bird's eye view of what's going on. So you just kind of got to take an educated guess, and it really is like throwing the dice a bit, isn't it? You don't really know what you've done is the best option. You kind of just got to, and that's why you see so much of a chain reaction as well when people come in because they all just you all do kind of become sheep, don't you, in some ways, because you just know that if especially with the offset of tyres this year, I think it's much more like if you stay out, even if you've only been on the tyre for a few laps, and you stay out at a safety car, you're just a sitting duck then. It always seems like that, especially in RTG. I don't know about other leagues, but it just feels like you're just going to be left behind if you stay out. So
the other thing is with this game, you can do so many different strategies. There's overcuts, there's undercuts, there's better tires at the end, and I mean the amount of times last season that the top 3 were so close, and then either second or third boxed one lap earlier to get a massive undercut, and all of a sudden safety car comes out and that person's out. Like they're fighting top 3, and then they probably don't even finish 10th. That's just I don't agree with it.
Yeah. Anyway, we didn't have any safety cars today, so it was the complete opposite of last week.
Yeah, I know. It was weird.
Yeah, so that did make up for last week. But last week, anyway, when we were racing, it was good. I thought, to be fair, but when we were actually racing, it was a really good race. But I said just ruined the flow. But
I didn't think it was.
We're asking you, Josh.
I thought it was a terrible race.
Hey, look, Josh. All I'm saying is P14 to P3, it can be done. Just needed to.
Oh, that's
have a better
true.
race.
Yeah.
Well, who watched? Did either of you watch Thursday? I mean,
yeah, I did. Nice job. Yeah.
Last to first. I mean, amazing from him. Anyway, okay. Well, we'll see you next week. Back on Thursday with Lee for the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. I'm not there because I've got a Christmas party where I'm going to Ninja Warrior. That's gonna be fun. With a fractured toe as well, so I've got to be careful. Anyway, yeah, we'll see you on Thursday. We'll be back next week with Lee as well on Monday. You've got a treat there with Imola. So we'll see you on Thursday. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share your video to your friends who like watching league races, and make sure you like that video as well. It's goodbye from me until